Welcome to Crypt Talk, where we take murder mysteries and give them an ASMR storytime vibe, complete with page turns and exaggerated voice inflections. Today's story is about an 18-year-old private school boy who we'll call Prince Sarcasm. And Prince Sarcasm is washing his car in the driveway of his family's big, beautiful home, when suddenly two men pull up to his home, draw out a pew-pew, and unalive Prince Sarcasm before he can even drop the water hose he holds in his hand. Prince Sarcasm's mom runs out to the driveway after hearing all the commotion, and the other children of the house hear a scream that will haunt them for the rest of their days. The mom screams, "Call your father!" You see, Prince Sarcasm's parents are divorced, so his father lives in a different home in the same neighborhood. We'll call Prince Sarcasm's father Mr. Lakers. When the sheriff arrives on the scene, he says this was clearly a hit for hire. And there are only two reasons people hire for hits in this town: love and kryptonite. The town in question is the town of Brownsville, Texas, which is technically an American city, but in name and law only. This is because Brownsville just happens to sit right on the border between America and Mexico. Consequently, over 80% of the population is Mexican. All the signs are in Spanish, telenovelas play in the nail salons, and soccer games play in the restaurants. These Brownsville residents live in constant fear of Mexican coyotes. These are mobsters who drive around the neighborhood all day ominously like Debo and collect money payments from illegal immigrants who they assisted in crossing the border over into America. Our boy, Prince Sarcasm, shouldn't have a fear of Mexican coyotes because he's white. Prince Sarcasm is also an honor student, and he has the 11th best grade point average of his entire private school. We'll call his private school St. 3000 Academy because it costs about $3,000 a year to attend this fancy pants school. Prince Sarcasm's 11th place status becomes common knowledge among the locals because his tragic story becomes a sensation overnight. This might be because Prince Sarcasm's grandma was once the mayor of Brownsville. Additionally, Prince Sarcasm is an all-American boy who has everything in the world going for him. He already has a free ride waiting for him at the University of Texas at Austin. And he's so popular at school, he gets voted the most sarcastic person in the yearbook. But Prince Sarcasm has a weakness, and that weakness is for the many local Latina girls who walk around his school. He catches eyes with one particular Latina cheerleader, despite the fact she is the type of girl who sits in the corner of tables and photos and never really draws attention to herself. We'll call this girl Shy Cheerleader. Prince Sarcasm and Shy Cheerleader keep such a low-key relationship. Many in Prince Sarcasm's family don't even realize they're a couple. The two sweethearts don't ever hold hands, and whenever Shy Cheerleader comes over to Prince Sarcasm's house, she just plays video games in the living room while Prince Sarcasm does homework on the dining room table. But finally, the two sweethearts do the dastardly bedroom deed. They reportedly do the deed at a resort island off the coast of Brownsville. We'll call this place Pleasure Island. Prince Sarcasm's parents own a house on Pleasure Island, and Prince Sarcasm and the boys love to go there regularly because there isn't much to do in Brownsville for boys who want to have casual flings and get fake IDs so they can imbibe. Another place Prince Sarcasm fantasizes about visiting is the city of Matamoros, which is the Mexican city directly across the border from Brownsville. This place is even more crazy than Pleasure Island. The bars in this city don't even check for IDs. And they have their own red light district. The only problem with Matamoros is how dangerous the place is, perhaps unsurprisingly. The town had recently come under fire because a boy was sacrificed by Latinos. You see, what Prince Sarcasm and many other local white people don't realize about their Mexican neighbors is just how obsessed they are with Catholic folklore. Everyone, from the farm workers to the kryptonite dealers, put an enormous amount of stock in El Ocholadas, also known as the other side. They wish to do anything to avoid the dirtiness of the other side and remain spiritually pure. For Latina women, of course, this Catholic purity means young girls are expected to get married as soon as humanly possible, and Shy Cheerleader is no different. Shy Cheerleader has a very protective mother. We'll call her mother Purity Protector. And Purity Protector calls Shy Cheerleader her miracle child. Purity Protector gave birth to Shy Cheerleader to make up for the loss of her firstborn child to a freak accident. Purity Protector already has a reputation around Saint 3000 Academy for being rather overprotective of her children. She's the type of mom who, if her children have bad grades, then when parent-teacher conferences roll around, she blames the teachers instead of her kids. Purity Protector's oldest son is a dentist, and she once interrupted him while he was performing a root canal because she believed talking to her at the time was far more important. Unfortunately, Prince Sarcasm knows nothing about Catholic female purity or his girlfriend's overbearing mother, and he immediately regrets doing the dastardly bedroom deed with Shy Cheerleader at Pleasure Island. Shy Cheerleader tries to push him for marriage when he sees this as a more casual affair. So in a bit of a panic, Prince Sarcasm breaks up with Shy Cheerleader, not realizing this would set off a train of tragedy. Destination: everyone involved. Shy Cheerleader is so devastated, she refuses to give Prince Sarcasm back his class ring, even when he writes a legal notice asking for it back. When Purity Protector learns of her miracle child's breakup pain and heartbreak, she takes matters into her own hands. In the cringiest ways imaginable. First, she calls Prince Sarcasm repeatedly and tries to offer him $500 a month to continue dating her daughter. But Prince Sarcasm just hangs up the phone in complete disgust. So when that plan fails, Purity Protector calls Prince Sarcasm's father Mr. Lakers and asks him to meet her at a local Burger King. When Mr. Lakers arrives, Shy Cheerleader sits quietly next to her mom as Purity Protector digs into Mr. Lakers with all the bad things she knows about his son. She says things like, "You know your son drinks, right?" And although the conversation is super awkward as one would expect, Mr. Lakers doesn't think much of it. I mean, nobody would be crazy enough to harm a child over a high school romance, right? Right? Remember what the sheriff said. There are only two reasons hits for hire to carry it out: kryptonite and love. And Prince Sarcasm is an honor student with zero connections to kryptonite. So the sheriff asks Mr. Lakers, "Does your son have any ex-girlfriends?" And finally, the light bulb goes off in Mr. Lakers' head. Could that meeting with Purity Protector have been more dangerous than he realized? Unfortunately, since the people who jumped Prince Sarcasm on that fateful morning were men, police need to do some deep digging to find a connection between these ominous men and Purity Protector. Luckily, at the crime scene, they stumble upon a yellow business card with the numbers 214 on it, which is the area code for Dallas, Texas. They get in contact with the company this business card belongs to, and they find out it's a bail bond company. The police ask the Dallas Bail Bond Company if anyone from around the Brownsville area has recently submitted a bond application. Only one name comes up. This card was exchanged at a hotel known to be quite the haven for criminals. It's almost like the Continental in the John Wick films, if the Continental looked more like a Taco Bell. At this hotel, police are able to force a confession out of one of the residents, who we'll call El Divorso. When El Divorso explains his side of the story, the crazy of this story goes Super Saiyan. You see, El Divorso is having marital problems, so he goes to a curandera to give him special enchantments which will fix his marriage. A curandera is basically a Mexican faith healer. Curanderas are surprisingly popular with kryptonite dealers. This is because the dealers believe curanderas can use spells and witchcraft to help them evade federal authorities. Remember when I said white people aren't very much aware of how much stock Mexicans put into Catholic folklore? I was being completely serious. El Divorso asked the assistance of a peculiar 72-year-old curandera, who we'll call Las Barajas, which in Spanish translates to a deck of cards. Las Barajas is a peculiar curandera because she's the only healer in town who uses tarot cards in her bag of tricks. All the other Mexican witches in the area stick to the more traditional tools of the curandera trade, such as oils, wax figures, and ribbons. When El Divorso goes to visit Las Barajas in her office, which is quite literally a small table in the back of a thrift store, Las Barajas promises to fix his marriage, but in exchange, he must unalive the boyfriend of one of his client's daughters. El Divorso accepts this deal without hesitation because he's evil, and evil people prefer to process payments with blood of the innocent rather than cash or credit cards, of course. So Las Barajas hands El Divorso the prom photo of Prince Sarcasm and Shy Cheerleader. But how does Purity Protector know Las Barajas? Well, Purity Protector grew up in a very traditional Catholic neighborhood, but she had a taste for the upper class status. So she married a doctor and went for morning walks at upscale shopping centers to just show off how much better she was than the other Mexican women in her neighborhood. However, when Purity Protector lost her firstborn child, she fell back hard into the ancient Catholic rituals. It's at this point she noticed the office of Las Barajas was right next to her husband's medical office. Purity Protector and Las Barajas become best friends over the course of 10 years. Until the day Purity Protector asked Las Barajas to unalive a child. At which point, Las Barajas says, "Are you crazy? That's pure evil. And I will not do it. But for $500, I'll point you in the direction of somebody who will." Las Barajas tells Purity Protector the only way Shy Cheerleader can reclaim her pearl is if Prince Sarcasm is unalived. Las Barajas sure sounds dedicated to her sacred craft. That, of course, is until the day the police barge into Las Barajas' humble closet office and she gives up Purity Protector's name on the spot under 10 seconds. Purity Protector and Las Barajas are both imprisoned. Purity Protector gets a life sentence, and Las Barajas gets over 20 years. Prince Sarcasm's father never missed a Lakers game with his son, and now he feels like he is living somebody else's life. He lives the life of somebody who doesn't have an amazing son. In order to show just how idiotic and senseless this entire debacle was, I feel I should mention that Shy Cheerleader found another boyfriend to replace Prince Sarcasm basically the very next week after the breakup. But to this day, when Prince Sarcasm's real name is mentioned in Shy Cheerleader's presence, Shy Cheerleader runs into a closet and bursts into tears. Nobody forgets a high school romance, not even a tragic one.